Okay, so today I'm going to show you a little bit of more story mode techniques where you can mix and match different actions using weights in story track. You can have different weights on each track and you can mix and match between those. It's kind of useful sometimes because instead of keyframing from scratch, so you have two clips that kind of do what you want. You can mix and match them together and um, get something going to use in your previs. So I'm gonna use my first example. I'm gonna show you how to mix two clips together and add the second clip as an upper body motion. Okay, so I'm gonna open this guy, no animation. It's probably in T-pose. I'll switch on the control rate because I want him to be in T-pose, full body. And I'm gonna start with a simple walk, okay? Walk forward, walk straight, okay. Oops. Did I do that? Oh yeah, okay. So I'll start with a simple walk. Just so you know, by default, the weight of the track, this track has weight, it's hidden. So you have to put your mouse close to the end of the track and just expand it. You'll see a couple more options here. So this is the weight I'm talking about. This is the actual weight of the track, okay? So if I just play this right now, it's playing the walk cycle, right? So if I go in and put that to 50%, what it's actually doing is it's taking 50% of this stake, what's on this stake, and 50% of the walk. Okay, so it's kind of blending. It's kind of blending the T-pose and the walk itself. That's why he's walking shorter steps, because it's kind of taking 50% of each. If I put it to 0, obviously, it's going to play 100% of the take. So 0 means whatever is on the take, and 100 is whatever is on the clip. Okay. So what I want to do is I have something like I want this character to walk and wave. Okay. So normally you would either keyframe it, but if you have a wave mocap, which is this, I'm gonna drop it here to see what it looks like. So the wave is on spot, okay? But my previs, I want this guy to walk and wave at the same time. So I have two options, either to keyframe it afterwards, or you can take this clip and only use certain body parts of it on another track. Okay, so how do we do this? Is we create another track, assign it to the character, the same character, and drag and drop hello. So what do we have now? We have the full hello. The walk has disappeared. It's still there. So if I mute the hello, we can still see the walk. The problem is the way the tracks work is it works, the bottom one is the priority. So it's the reverse of the layer system we have here. So the layer system, the layer takes visibility. It's the top one. But in story mode, it's the opposite. It's the bottom one that takes visibility. So now I can just do this. If I put it to 50%, and what is it doing? It's blending the 50% of the wave. That's why his arm is lower and the walk is less, because it's blending the idle, the on-spot idle with the walk. But like I said, you don't have, you have the option to use what you want in terms of body parts from the wave. And the way to do this is through this. So if you click on, if you put the mouse on this icon called body parts, and you click on it, you have all the body parts available. So right now it's playing full body. So all I need to do is uncheck full body and just choose upper body. Okay. So what is upper body is the spine, the head, and the two arms. Okay. Don't worry about props and extensions. This is more, if your character is set up for props and extensions, it will use or not use those props. But in this case, we don't have any props, so don't worry about it. You can leave it on because it's not going to affect anything. So I just told that track to only use spine and left arm and head. So what does that look like right now? It looks a little janky because it's using 100% of this motion on top of the walk. Now the walk is very, if you look at it, the walk, it has some spines. You want to, so you want to keep that kind of motion in the spine. You don't want to derive it. So let's try something else. So I'm gonna take off the upper body and just use the right arm. Okay. So from the shoulder all the way down to the hand. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. It's not bad, right? It's really cool. So I just took the wave and I blended it with the walk. In a couple of minutes. So I didn't have to keyframe. And the beauty about this is you can offset it. So let's say you want him to wave later, let's say on this part of the walk, you could just offset the wave in here. Okay. So now, and he goes back down. So there's one thing here, if you notice that the arm is super stiff. So we lost the motion on the walk, right? See, all this motion is gone. So what do we do now? We can animate the weight of this track from 0 to 100 to keep the motion of the arm on the walk. Okay. So from here, where is the wave? Let's see. So he starts waving around here. Okay. So what I want to do is just put that, any value in Motionbuilder that has a K beside it, that means it's keyable. Okay. So that means we can animate the weight of this track. Okay. So at this frame, I'm just going to put it to 0, press key. And then he's probably going to start waving around here. So that's not bad. And waves and then drops it, right? So I want it to finish as he's maybe around here at 0, and then I want him to start to keep on waving, sorry, to keep on walking with the wave. I'm gonna loop this walk to see the effect of the weight of that I just animated. So now let's see what it looks like. See? Oh, it got short because of my timeline. So 240. 240 flush. So you can actually preview the curve of the weight if you, let me see if it works like that. No, it doesn't work. So I'm able to see the curve because see here you don't see any keys. But if you go, let me check, if you go in properties of the track option. Oh yeah, wait, okay. So if you select the track, you go in property. Let's say it's not selected yet. Let's say there's something else selected, and you select the weight and the property of the track. Then you can see the keys. So if you want to adjust it here, you can adjust it. So let's say it's moving up a little bit too fast, and you want to give it a bit more time to go up. You could adjust it here. So see. Just gave it a little bit. Again, it is going down a little bit fast, so you can adjust that as well. I don't know why it's popping here. Maybe the first and last frame are not the same. Probably in the walk. Let's check. If I go in first view and go for the first frame, yeah, they're not in the same spot. That's why. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I can bring it back here and undo the loop. 167. Yeah, if you offset the clip, it will offset obviously the keys as well, because the keys are linked to the track. So any offsets that you do here will move the keys as well. Okay, so that's a cool way, sorry, to mix and match clips. So then what you could do is, then let's say you're happy with this, with the result, you just plot selected, and then let's see if plot selected, it does do it on the, yes, it does do it on the skeleton. So now you can either save it like this as a clip and load it into your assembly scene, you know, because I highly recommend, if you want to do mix and match clips like this, do it separately in another FBX, save it, and then bring it in with the kind of the previs that you're doing, right? So again, it's the same process. When we're doing first the Mixamo stuff, we were saving the clips separately, and then in another file, kind of the assembly file, we're bringing in the Mixamo, the samples files from Motionbuilder, the clip art from the clip art folder, everything, bring it into a separate file. It stays cleaner this way. You don't have to worry about messing up your original animation keyframe or your mocap. So everything stays separate, and the assembly file will bring them all together. Okay, that's one way to mix and match clips using the body part. I want to show you how to be able to keyframe on top of this. Let's say you didn't find the wave hello, it's not available, or you need to do something else. Let's say he scratches his head or something like that. Okay, So you can take a base animation like the walk and add on top of it some key poses. Okay. Again, highly recommended to do it separately because then it doesn't confuse with the other clips, with the stuff you're mixing and matching in your assembly file. So if you have this clip, the walk, and you want to add a modification, let's say on the arm, what you would do, you select the same track, you right click on it, and you go insert subtrack. Okay, here you have two options. Okay, override. What override means? It will override the current, or sorry, it will override the walk completely. Okay, so let's do an example, and then you'll understand a little bit better what's going on. Okay, so I want to make him scratch with the right hand as an example. Okay, and then now it's an override, right? That's the one we chose. Yeah, it's an override. So enable to add keys in story mode and on that track, you have to click on this button, accept keys. Otherwise you cannot like, see, if I'm in body part and I press key, there's nothing happening. So if you press this one down, then you'll be able to add keys on that track, on that sub track. Actually, it's right now it's a sub track of this. It has to be a sub track because you're actually modifying on top of the walk, so that's why it has to be. Okay, so I'll go somewhere here in the middle and make my modification. So let's say he goes up and he's taking a salute. That could work too. I'll stick to the original thing. He's scratching his head. All right. So press key. So what's happening is it pops on one frame. Okay. It's because, again, because of the weight. Actually, no, it's because it's only on one frame. It works a little bit differently, the subtract overlay. So now if you extend it, just like the clips above, it will play for longer, the duration of the clip itself. Okay. So now what we can do is we can play with the weight. So either animate the weight here, or what you can do is take the corners, which is the kind of the blend of the clip, and just do it like this. So this is equivalent to animating the weight, but it's more visual. Okay, and what the difference is here, it's the weight of the track, but here it's the blend duration of the clip. Okay, as you will see here, if I go in here in the properties, see, if I modify that, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Fade in, this one. See, it's the fade in, fade out of the clip, which is the blend in, blend out. I'm using different terminology, but it's the same, means the same thing. So now what happens is here it's at 0 and here it's at 100 of the pose, and then reverse on the way out. And here it's like 50%, right? So this is an overlay, okay? So it completely deletes what's underneath, which is the walk, which is above underneath. It's when I say underneath, it means the the motion that's underneath that layer. So that's an overlay. If you're looking for something like that, that's how you do it. Unfortunately, I cannot switch in real time to additive because it's gonna break. Yeah, it will give you a warning. So it will actually break the rig. So to show you the additive, I'm gonna have to create another one from scratch. Insert subtract additive. Accept keys. And then do the same thing. Could have just copy pasted the pose. It's okay. So, oops. And press key and then extend it a little bit. So now let's see what it looks like. See, the difference is the additive is it keeps the motion of the walk. See the motion forward, backward, forward motion of the hand, but it applies that new pose on top. So that's why it's called additive. It adds on top of the bottom layer, which is the walk. See, that's the difference between overlay and override. A real life example is an override is let's say an override. We usually use it. I worked on Rainbow Six Raven Shield a while ago. It's a military shooter for those of you who don't know it. The position on top with the gun or the different guns, let's say you have an Uzi or you have a handgun or a machine gun, that layer for the spine and arms is what we call an override. It actually overrides all the motion, you know, like the swinging motion and the spine motion of the walk. An additive layer in game terminology is something like a look at. Okay, so you have your breathing animation, like he's breathing, and then we add a head rotation looking left or right, but he continues breathing, he continues his motion up and down on the head with that rotation left or right. So that's the difference. An override just deletes everything at the bottom, and additive, it adds on top of the bottom. Okay, so that's another way to, again, you have to do the fade in, fade out. And you can put as many keys as you want, obviously. So let's say you don't like this pose here. It's a little bit stiff. If you're animating the ease in, ease out, you might get some weirdness if you're keyframing on the 50%. So you just make sure that you're at 100% when you're putting the keys to be able to see your result. Okay. And then same thing, once you're happy, you bake, you go in full body, you plot, right? Get out of story, and then you will see your result. Always check your result before saving, and then save it and load it into your assembly scene. Okay, that's it for story mode. Does anybody have Any questions on this one? You want me to go a little bit? Somebody's blocked in story mode, or I can show you a couple of things, or come back to previous things we did before. No? Going once, twice, sold. Okay, I'll stop the video.